Today, I'd like to talk to you about one of the key topics in growing your business and managing your life in general, and that is time management, or probably more accurately, it's about self-management. Hi, it's Rob from ActionCOACH Reading. We find it very easy to blame time and say I haven't got enough time, but it really is all about how we manage ourselves and how we manage our own time. So the first one is to get an understanding of where you're spending your time at the moment, because I guarantee that as you analyse it, you won't like what you see. You'll find that you're spending huge amounts of time on your email, or particular employees are really sapping your time, or particular customers, suppliers, whatever it may be. Maybe working on your accounts, doing your bookkeeping, things that are valuable work, but they're not business owner work. As a business owner, you need to be able to prioritize and work on the things that are going to make the biggest difference. Your job as a business owner is to make the business make money. So step one, analyze your time. How to do that? There are various tools around, but let me give you the simplest. Get a piece of paper and a pen, keep it on your desk, by you all the time, and every 10 minutes, make a note of what it is you're doing. Maybe create some categories and just tick them off when you're working on those. So classic things are going to be email, meeting, stuff like that. And track a whole day. And when you've done that, track another day. Track a whole week. At the end of that week, look at where you've spent your time, and then you're ready to start analysing what you're going to do about it. The next thing that you need to do in terms of working with your time and becoming more efficient is to take your time log. You've analysed how you spend your time. Now you need to really break it down and start seeing what to do about it. And in terms of that, one of the best things to remember is the 3D rule. So the 3D rule is about looking at each activity, where you're spending your time, and deciding which of three ways to treat it. And the three ways are that you're either going to do it now, or you're going to delegate it to someone, or you're going to drop it, meaning get rid of it. Now, the getting rid of things, people often find the biggest challenge, so let me start at the end with that one. Create yourself a stop doing list. That's right. Everyone creates a to-do list. One of the most valuable things to save your time is literally create a stop doing list. Out of your time log, out of looking at the way you spend your time, look at the things that you're doing, and you will see some things that you go, do you know what, I need to stop doing that, or at the very least, spend a lot less time on it. So step one of that first part is to create your stop doing list and work on breaking those down and doing less. In terms of getting on and doing it now, I guess I don't need to tell you more about that. Just get on and do things now. Do not procrastinate. Get really clear on what you're going to do and give yourself a fixed time slot. If you work on a basis where things are finished when they're finished, what tends to happen is it just goes on and on and on, and it's easy to get distracted. If you say, I'm going to give myself 10 minutes to work on this, or even if it's 30 minutes, don't give yourself a 2-hour time slot, because you just end up wasting time in amongst it. You're willing then to take phone calls, you end up checking your email, or dread the thought checking Facebook and stuff like that. So keep the time slots short and very specific. And if you're the kind of person that needs to control yourself even more, then when you think, I'll go and get a cup of tea, just go, well, I'll get a cup of tea once I've finished this task, and do not go until then. If you find that when you're getting 1 cup of tea a day, you probably need to break your tasks down a bit smaller. So the next step in working through your time management is to work out the systems. You need to delegate things, but in order to delegate, we've first got to systemize. So in creating systems, the first step is make a list of all of the different systems that you have in the business. So they could be systems around purchasing, paying bills, financial management, all kinds of things, whatever your business is, but break them down into different groups and then make a list. So you may find there's like 100 or even 200 different systems or processes in your business. And the first step is to make a list. Having made that list, go through it and pick out the most important ones. Those are the areas where either you're spending a lot of time, or someone's spending a lot of time, or where it's critical and mistakes are being made, or just consistency is not quite there, because the idea of a system is to create the best way of doing things and be able to break it down and make sure that's consistently followed. So having got your list of different processes to create that you're going to systemize, then start on each one and think about either work with the person that's currently implementing this task, or with yourself if it's you doing it that you're going to delegate, and just think through and work through those steps. If you need to actually do it on a computer, let's take, for example, in pretty much every business, you've got a process for set up a new customer on your CRM or a new customer on your accounts. So work through that on the software, and every step of the way, make a note of what you're doing, or record what the screen is doing. Sometimes a good way of creating a system is just do a screen recording and voice over it. So whichever way it works, what you're aiming to do is to create, as a process, a series of steps, number them, and have questions as to how you get from one step to another, and build those systems. It's something that at a later time we'll go through in more detail and show you examples, but right now just get the key points here. It's easy to do once you make a start on it. So having started on those systems, work through them. Set yourself a task of documenting one process per week. At the end of a year, you've got 50 processes. You know what 80-20 rule applies. If you never actually document the other 150 in your business, it's not going to kill the business. You can always make it better the more you do. But if you can just get even 5 or 10 systems documented, it'll make life a lot easier. After you've got things systemized, processes written down, then you're ready to delegate. And in order to delegate, you've got to have your processes already. Listen, I speak to a lot of people who say, oh, I'm really no good at delegation, I really need to work on that. But when I ask them what's going on, they say, well, I give the task to someone, I delegate it to them, but they just don't do it right. Now I end up going, oh, give it back to me, let me do it. You know what, that's not delegation, that's abdication of your responsibility to train someone and to have the right process. There's probably all kinds of things that you've been doing over and over again, and you've completely forgotten how it is you know how to do those things. How do you know how to do step 1 followed by step 2 and step 3, or even what the steps are? And that's why having the process is important. But in delegation, the first thing you've got to do then is take someone, explain to them what the outcomes are, and go through what would success look like? How would this task look when it's completed? How will they know the measures of success? So start with the end in mind to know what it's going to look like when done. Then go through the steps, and it's your job to train them so that they know what the steps are and how to use them. You can't just go, here's a process, follow that, and go from there, because you're going to guarantee failure. It really will not work. You have a responsibility to train people. Let me make a point clear here. If you delegate a task and the person doesn't actually perform the task well, guess who's to blame? It isn't the person that you failed to delegate to well. If delegation isn't going well, then you need to get better at delegation. There's plenty of books on it, there's plenty of courses, and we'll be running a webinar and training courses at different points through the year. So if you're really struggling with it, get yourself booked on one of those courses. So key to delegation, have the process, train someone properly, show them what success looks like, take them through the steps, and then get them to run through it. Get them to run through it in front of you, then let them go and do work on their own and show you the result at the end. And when they're doing that and it's working, they're coming back showing you the result and it's fine, now they're ready to go off and do it and only report to you routinely. At which point you've delegated something, you can move on to the next one in your long list. After a few weeks of taking different activities that you've analysed you're spending time on, breaking them down, creating processes, and delegating these, you will find that you've gained the time to focus on what's really important to you in running the business, and the business will then grow. It's all about time management, it's all about self-management, and maximising your time to focus on what a business owner should focus on, and that is making the business work well and making the business make money. My name's Pickering, and we're with ActionCOACH Reading, helping Reading-based businesses to grow their business and work more efficiently.